Okay, try two. Top five reasons Houston had to trade for Russ. Make sure you check out the full piece at lineups pinned to this video. Follow at ScoutWithBryan on Twitter. I'm going to hold my breath. Let's fly through this thing. Five reasons Houston had to pull the trigger on the blockbuster trade. Number one, getting to the rim. Russ shot a career high 63% in the restricted area last season. Houston fans may recognize a lot of these small screens are a staple of the D'Antoni offense too. The only difference is instead of having the big taking up space here, they usually play a lot of five out, meaning Russ or Harden or whoever, Rivers will all screen for each other, and that's going to give Russ a lot of space to attack slower defenders and get all the way to the rim. On shots around the basket, look at this. Russ shot 61% on 330. Chris Paul 47% on 83. That's a striking difference. Against any smaller, weaker defenders, especially come playoff time, Russ is able to really abuse and go at those matchups and get all the way to the basket. Here's a little pistol type set. And basketball at its core, a simple game. Game of mismatches, game of switches. You got a slower big on you. Russ is still one of the best in the league at attacking the big's feet, getting to the rim. Three shots coaches love more than anything. Threes, layups, free throws. This shot, he gets two of them. Ranked third in the league in drives per game, behind only James Harden and DeMar DeRozan. And when he drives, it's not only just for him. He's got great floor vision. He's always going to keep his head up. He's going to find the bigs like Capella in the dunker spot-ish here. And when he forces a second defender to come and help, he's going to make that dump-off pass to the big. Very unselfish player and why he's led the league in assists for a long time. Trust me, if Austin Rivers is able to have enough space to attack and get to the rim consistently in Mike D'Antoni's offense, Russ will be able to too. You see James Harden, usually his man here would be around the free throw line, helping, being in a plug as we call in the NBA. Klay Thompson's not going to do that though. He's too worried about taking away James Harden's shot. So what that's going to create is a whole lot of open space and gaps. Guys like Austin Rivers and Russ will have a great time exploiting all those. Now you ask, okay, what's going to happen when Russ is off the ball? Not going to be a perfect fit, but he's still really hard to guard even when he's spotting up. Because even as you see D Wade over here really slant towards the ball, if you help off Russ that much, he's going to be able to get a running start to the rim for these catch and goes, as we call them in the NBA. Catch, put the ball down right away, and for Russ, it's usually only one dribble even he's able to explode to the rim. You help off Russ, that's just going to give him more space to drive and attack. You see Chris Paul have basically the same version of it here. What's the difference? Instead, it took him three dribbles, and he couldn't even go up and explode for the layup. Help defenders, there's no question Chris Paul was a much better spot-up shooter, but defenders are still able to recover quick enough to him usually to contest these shots. They're still in a good help position, like Iguodala is here. So then at this point, when you catch the ball, it's either shoot it right away or drive and attack. Russ is going to have this same situation, but for him, it's going to be one dribble, explode up, finish at the rim. Chris Paul ended up missing a corner three on that possession. Reason number two, pace. Russ, we know, is one of the fastest players in the league, has long played at one of the fastest paces. He's a one-man fast break, and in addition, again, it's not just for him. Led the league with 10.6 assists per game. Really good floor vision, always has his head up. Also had an NBA high, 802 passes leading to a three-point attempt. Mike D'Antoni is going to put him in a lot of these spread pick-and-roll type situations where you're just reading the floor, help defense comes in, you're kicking out to the corner. Houston has much better, much more confident, much more high-volume shooters like P.J. Tucker, like Eric Gordon in these corners who are going to really benefit from Russ driving and kicking to them. Like I said, it's an easy game when you play with Mike D'Antoni, one of the best in the league too, in creating, especially after timeouts, these spread situations where Clint Capella is going to roll. He's going to force Sean Livingston to make a decision, come in and take away the roll and give Eric Gordon a three, or stay home and Clint Capella's got a dunk. He chooses to stay home here. Russ will have no trouble making that pass, getting a whole lot of those lob-type passes to Capella. Last year, Houston played at the fourth slowest pace in the league, but that doesn't mean they don't want to run. Remember, Mike D'Antoni famously created the 7 seconds or less offense. He's perfectly fine with them playing pretty up-tempo, taking pretty quick shots. P.J. Tucker being the beneficiary of these kicks to the corners. I feel like they'd like to play more up-tempo, and that's always kind of been D'Antoni's MO. Last season, Russ ranked fourth in the league in points off turnovers. First, James Harden. Both of them are high impact, deflection type defenders who get a lot of steals and take it the other way. Reason number 3, rebounding. Big key. Russ ranked second in the league in fast break points behind LeBron. Like I said, loves to grab the rebound and then go. It's off to the races for him. Getting 5 points a game alone on fast break points yourself, a big deal. He also tied LeBron in second chance points with 2.7. Creating extra offense is big, especially in the playoffs, and that'll really benefit Houston down the stretch. Oklahoma City, their rank rebounding percentage the last 6 seasons, 7th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st, 4th. As much as people say that Russ is stat padding and stealing rebounds from Steven Adams, I think Houston would have preferred it here as you watch Chris Paul kind of just meander off Andre Iguodala and end up leaving him uncontested at the rim for a dunk. Houston ranked as the 2nd worst defensive rebounding team in the league last season. They need that shored up. Russ had a defensive rebounding percentage, 25.5%. Behind Cat just barely, but ahead of Anthony Davis, Clint Capella, and Jokic. You see again, Chris Paul here. If Russ is even with Draymond right about in this position, I guarantee you he's going to at least jump, get a hand on this ball, knock Draymond out of there. It's going to be a big difference with their size and athleticism. Then, like I said, he gets the rebound himself. He's going to try to push it. If he doesn't have anything, he's going to know the pecking order. He's going to know it's still James Harden's team. And then what happens? Well, you stick him in the corner on these pick and rolls, where now it's going to be the other 3 guys will be out. No Nick Collison in the paint. And then this was a big look for them in Oklahoma City. Russ is spotting up on the weak side corner. If his man turns his head to him and starts to overhelp on the pick and roll, Russ is going to back cut. And a lot of times, James Harden would just throw this lob up to the rim to Russell Westbrook. He doesn't hear. Instead, he finds Derek Fisher for a corner 3. But I promise you, this will be a look they'll be able to get a whole lot of Russ backdooring from the corner. Reason number 4, Chris Paul. As much respect as I have for Chris Paul, one of the all-time greats. He is 34 years old. Russ is 30. Paul showed serious signs of slowing down, being taken advantage of in the playoffs against mismatches. I think Russ is a far more competitive defender at this age of their careers and will be able to battle far more. Chris Paul also did a lot of flopping, a lot of falling, and again, just generally, his play, I think, has really slowed down and kind of been on its last legs. Talked about defensively here. You see him matched up on a switch on Klay Thompson, and watch as he just kind of meanders off him again and loses Klay for a huge 3 in that pivotal Game 6. You see it again here as he just kind of walks back to the paint. Sean Livingston really was his guy, but again, just kind of got out of there, end up hugging Andre Iguodala as Sean Livingston's going to fly in uncontested for a dunk. These are the kind of plays that Russ will have an impact on, be able to block, be able to rebound. Speaking of rebounds, we know Houston will be able to get this step-back 3 almost whenever James Harden wants. It's that cheat code shot. But what they can use a little more of is a little more variance, getting some second opportunities in the playoffs. I think Russell Westbrook maybe might have been able to get this offensive rebound. And then on top of it, post-ups, mid-range shots, things like that. That's additional variance from just sticking only to Harden ISOs and Harden step-back 3s. Russ had 195 post-ups last season, Chris Paul 48. And it's not, again, just for him. He reads the floor well. If you overhelp or over-tilt the floor to him, he's going to find the dump-off pass. Here's a blast from the past. Chris Paul posting up Russell Westbrook with, guess who? James Harden spotting up. And when help comes off James Harden, then you're in trouble. Because Harden's going to be able to hit those spot-up 3s with the best of them. Reason number 5, shooting. Yeah, he's not a better spot-up shooter than Chris Paul or a better shooter, period. But you know what? On catch-and-shoot 3s, Russ shot 32% on 2.3. I think a lot of his poor percentage shooting from 3s was having to take a lot of them off the dribble on a poor team where he needed to have a really high usage rate since him and Paul George were the only ones who could really create a shot for anybody. Last 3 years combined, 38% from the corner, really solid, 31% above the break, both though perfectly acceptable from an effective field goal percentage. Like I said, 31% career from 3, which is around 45 to 50 effective, which again is better than almost anybody in the league on long 2s. Houston will gladly take this shot. The whole point of the effective field goal, as much as people say he's so inefficient because he takes so many 3s, if you're able to shoot 3s at a 45 to 50 effective field goal percentage, the analytics say you should be taking them. I think, again, he'll get a lot more from the corner, a lot more spot up, a lot more maybe rotating behind James Harden pick and rolls where he can just catch and shoot, and he's much better than he is putting it down off the dribble. If he does have to put it down off the dribble, first of all, we're never seeing this kind of offense in the NBA anymore with two traditional bigs both clogging up, taking up space. But if he does put it down again, defenses are so worried about him penetrating to the basket, especially with how much space you'll have in today's NBA, that if defenses come in and help it all off James Harden, this was something they didn't do last season. They will have to do it more with Russell Westbrook, and it'll end up creating a bunch more spot-up opportunities that were basically non-existent for James Harden last season. Thanks very much for watching the 5 reasons Houston had to trade for Russell Westbrook. Make sure you check out the full article at Lineups. Subscribe on Patreon, patreon.com/ScoutWithBryan to get a 10-minute bonus video with some extra clips I had to cut out of this one. Make sure you hit that thumb up button, hit that subscribe button. Thanks very much for watching. Talk to you guys soon.